A monumental day for Tarleton State football. The first as a postseason eligible Division I program and first game on national TV. The Texans host the McNeese Cowboys. We got one of the biggest prizes of the transfer portal at any level in former Montana quarterback Clifton McDowell. Can the Cowboys spoil the party and start their own turnaround today? With that, hello and welcome to Stephenville, Texas, for the first college football game of the season played in the United States. I'm Lowell Galindo here with the former Texas star, Fozzie Whitaker, and you know, my man, there is more hype than ever coming into this season for two reasons. The first being the video game.
Oh, yes.
Let's be honest, the one that's taken us away from our families over the past month. And secondly, on the FBS level, going to the 12-team playoff. Here for Tarleton State, though, they're thinking about getting into the FCS playoffs. First year that they're eligible. Why is there belief they can do it?
Well, I think, number one, the way that they finished the season last year, 4 wins overall, a record in FBS level for them, 8-3. They bring back 10 on the offensive side of the ball, 10 starters. On the defensive side, about half of that production. There is a lot to love about what Tarleton State brings to the table.
And they've got that preseason top 25 national ranking as well. On the other side, McNeese, this is such a storied and proud program. However, last year was bad. Just one win, and it was via a forfeit. But no one hit the transfer portal harder than this team. They somehow land Clifton McDowell. Keep in mind, this was the dude that came out of nowhere last season to lead Montana to the FCS championship game. What kind of impact can he make?
Well, number one, you look at the leadership that Clifton McDowell brings. Whenever you take anybody to the national championship game, you had to have some sort of significant impact. And Clifton McDowell, as the starter for that ignition for Montana to reach their goals, that's what Coach Goff is expecting for McNeese to be able to bottle in that same type of energy and experience that he was able to have the success there.
McDowell, one of 59 new players for this Cowboys program. The anticipation, however, here in Stephenville at an all-time high. Kickoff is coming up. The 25th anniversary of Tarleton State, so why not bring out the Texan Rider to get the fans going here. It's one of the best fan bases on the FCS level, and the Texans are out. This was a program that was top 4 nationally in attendance a year ago, and so much anticipation for this season. How about this man, Fozzie Whitaker? Micah Davey, you'll remember his pops, Rohan Davey, the first 3,000-yard quarterback in LSU history. His son is one of the best tacklers in the game.
Absolutely, averaging over 15 tackles a game, had 152 tackles at the end of last season, made All-American status last year, preseason All-American linebacker this year. They are expecting big things from Micah Davey this upcoming game.
However, the Cowboys had one of the most horrific rush defenses that we saw in the nation last year. Now they're going up against a preseason All-American at running back in Kayvon Britton.
Over 100 yards rushing, average 104, finished with 16 touchdowns on the ground, had 17 total, added 1 through the air as well. He's unbelievable, short, compact, one of the strongest that you will see, and he just has that it factor whenever you're talking about putting the ball in his hand.
So, Fozzie, when Tarleton State has the football, we will see 3 preseason All-Americans. Britton at running back, Darius Cooper at receiver, and then Micah Davey at linebacker. There are also 3 players playing in this game that were all in the top 200 of the ESPN 300 rankings coming out of high school. high-level talent here on the FCS level.
Absolutely. Darius Cooper is one of my favorite receivers just in the country right now. On the Senior Bowl watch list, I think that goes to show you how talented this guy is. He can make any and every play that you need to make. Coaches also put it on his target to make sure he gets enough balls throughout the game, because he's going to be an absolutely dynamic player.
So Cody Jackson, you'll see him at receiver, number 122 in the ESPN 300. And then you also have Trayvon Citizen out of Miami. He's a local guy from Lake Charles. His dad, Tony, was one of the best running backs, nearly 4,000 yards in his career for McNeese. And we have Jalen Jackson listed there, but it's actually another receiver in Mikey Henderson for Tarleton State, who is the top 200 talent. So we will have our eyes on those 4 stars in this game. So the Texans have won the toss. They will defer. So this is going to provide our first look at Clifton McDowell and this reworked McNeese Cowboys offense.
This is key also to remember that special teams is going to be a big proponent of this game, as well as the heat. How much will substitutions matter? How much will it vary? Being able to stay on cue. Penalties is going to be the main focus for both of these teams, and substitution errors, they want to minimize and eliminate that in game number 1.
We are in the mid-90s today, but over the past couple of weeks, what has been a mild summer in Central Texas has reared its ugly head, and it's just been delayed. We'd have triple digits up here in Stephenville over the past couple of weeks. At one point, they got a temperature reading on the field of 160 plus on this artificial turf.
I think that's pretty hot.
Football weather here in the state of Texas. How about that? Michael James will kick it away. Jamal Levi and Corey O'Brien deep for the Cowboys. And this will sail into the end zone. So Clifton McDowell led Montana to the FCS championship game a year ago with 10 straight wins as a starting quarterback. It was a long journey here to McNeese. He transferred to Temple, looked like he was going to be the starting quarterback there, and before even playing a game, decided to hit the portal again, and here he is engineering the offense for McNeese.
The level of excitement, you can feel it in the air right now. First game, let's make it happen. Football is back, baby.
First game played here in the United States. We can only hope it's as good as the matchup we saw with Georgia Tech upsetting Florida State moments ago from Dublin. And McDowell will give to Joshawn Barbie, and Barbie slicing and dicing through the Texans defense for an 11-yard pickup. The sophomore from Harvey, Louisiana.
Great story, great read right there. Very patient, getting behind his blockers, being able to split the defense, getting upfield for a first down game.
Barbie leaves McDowell empty. McDowell will run. This is his bread and butter. Second in the FCS in rushing yards at the quarterback spot a year ago. And 11 yards. So back-to-back first down plays for the Pokes.
That's part of the dynamic factor that McDowell brings to the game. Another rusher that you have to account for at all times. There he takes advantage of it, picks up another first down for the Pokes.
McDowell fumbles the snap, recovers, it's out again, and the Texans have the football. Blake Smith jumped on it, and that is the start McNeese was trying to avoid, Fozzie.
Yeah, that play was disastrous from the start. You look at McDowell, as he tries to take on the snap, he ends up dropping the ball, never has full complete control of it, gets knocked out. And oh, by the way, there's a defender right there to scoop it up. They get the first turnover of the season.
Tyrone Diggs, the defensive coordinator, preaches takeaways. They're not turnovers. You got to go get the football. That was their calling card a year ago. And that will set up Victor Gabalis back for his second year as a starting quarterback here with the Texans. He will be flanked by Kayvon Britton. Got to look close to find the 5'7", 195 standout. 10 of 11 starters returning from the Texans from a year ago. Gabalis will throw. The dart to Darius Cooper, and the preseason All-American spinning his way 1 yard shy of the first down marker.
Such a physical receiver, able to take contact as he's looking in that ball. Great throw, great pass, great execution, first down.
FBS programs try to get him in the offseason. He decided to come back for season number 5 with the Texans. Britton with his first carry of the season. Patience and showing some power, moving the pile for the first down.
Very nice patience right there. That's what you want to see. You got 2 All-Americans. Want to give them the ball early, and we see the game plan already. Cooper involvement, Britton involvement. That patience goes to show you that as they pick up their first down of the season.
Gabalis to throw. He's got a big arm. There's the pressure, and the Cowboys take him down for the sack. Macy Lewis is in for the stop.
That's part of what this defense new identity was all about. Getting pressure, getting sacks. A season ago, their leading sacker only had 2 sacks on the season. Macy Lewis comes up big with that one on first down.
Gabalis flips it to Britton. Britton getting the block by Dawson Hearn, and the Cowboys defense rallying to the football. Micah Davey was the first there for the 2-yard loss. Davey coming off a phenomenal season, 15.2 tackles per game last season, the best in the FCS since 2003.
And you can see why he was able to make that play as well. Read it very well, got to the sideline, made the play. First one at the point of attack.
3rd and long for Tarleton State. Check with me, new offensive coordinator for the Texans as former Arizona quarterback Adam Austin in his first season as the primary play caller. 3rd and 13. Gabalis cool in the pocket. Britton dropped it. He had him, and Fonzie, that's going for the first down.
Yeah, and he probably would have had the first down and then some, but unfortunately couldn't hold it in. The pass was a little bit hot for him. It looks like they're sending out their special team unit on this 4th down.
So this will be a long field goal attempt. Adrian Guzman is the typical kicker for the Texans, but with the longer distance, they're going with Michael James from 53 yards out. The wind is blowing at his back into the north end zone. He's got enough leg, and he's got Tarleton State on the board. Their first points as a fully fledged Division I program. So the McNeese turnover leads to points for the Texans. They strike first here in Stephenville. Gary Goff. Goff enters season number 3 as a head coach for McNeese. He has vowed that this program will turn it around. Also told us Fozzie coming into this game, he didn't want his team and staff to feel unnecessary pressure. We're going to see how they deal with that after that early miscue.
Well, that's why you bring in the senior transfer, Clifton McDowell. Understand he fumbled the ball, but he also knows what it takes to get to that championship level. Let's see how he responds coming out here on their second possession.
That Davey tackle for loss was key to push the Texans back, leading to only 3 points on that opening drive. So drive number 2 here for Clifton McDowell. We saw exclusively going with the ground game on that opening drive. What do they need to switch up?
I think ultimately being able to catch the snap number 1 solidify that you take care of the football, but they had rhythm going. Go back, continue to establish that. I believe there'll be some play action opportunities, but we know what they can do whenever they get it going. Clifton McDowell can be that difference maker. Continue to trust in him and let him be the difference maker.
Scored a season-high 34 points in the opener last year against this Texans team, and that's how you bow up defensively for Tarleton State, stuffing Barbie, 2-yard gain.
It's a really good job right there. Obviously got gashed on the first 2 runs in the first possession, finding a way to fill all of the gaps. That's what was on their focus right there on that play, and they did an excellent job of being able to stop Barbie before he got going.
So Texans defense lost about half of their starters, 2 of them in the transfer portal to FBS programs. Kyle Taylor to Arkansas State, Josh Griffiths to Oregon State. Back to Barbie, and Barbie running through tackles to the 40 and give him more. Joshawn Barbie, Fozzie, what a story. He was buried as a walk-on practice squad player at the beginning of last year.
Yeah, he took advantage of every opportunity, fumbled his first time he touched the ball last year. Well, he's not fumbling right now as he's able to make a dynamic play right there.
Ultimate team guy that never complains. First pitch and catch there from McDowell to Jermichael Carter. 4-yard pickup as Carter's trying to establish himself as the leader of this McNeese offense. For everything that McDowell does at the quarterback spot, Carter has been around this program. Coach Goff calls him his war daddy. Back to Barbie. Hit the hole hard, but he is stopped by Devin Sterling, who Tyrone Nix calls his most physical player on defense.
Yeah, one of the things that I'm really noticing about McNeese right now is they're trying to establish the run. They want to make sure that they establish it and do it properly. Barbie's running very well and very consistent.
Going quick here on 3rd down, and it's going to be spotted 1 yard shy as Robert Rios, another one of these leaders on the Texans defense, makes the tackle. And for the moment, the offense is staying out there. You agree with this, Fozzie?
I do. I like it. Ride with the momentum.
McDowell with the feed. Barbie is still up, and Joshawn Barbie moves the chains on 4th down.
Big first down run right there, especially whenever you have a running quarterback. You got to account for him, but guess what? Whenever Barbie is doing what he is doing, you got to be able to take advantage of him. And look at the substitution change as well. As those runs continue to get clipped off 6-7 yards, it's wearing down that defense early in the first quarter already.
Colby Ham is the new running back for the Cowboys. McDowell to throw. Sideline shot, and the adjustment by Curtis DeVille. His first target after transferring from Purdue, underthrown, incomplete.
A little bit of a hand battle going on right there. But ultimately, that's a play that you expect Curtis DeVille to be able to make. Look for them to come back to that play as an opportunity to take a shot again later in the game.
DeVille started his career, local guy, but went to Purdue for 2 seasons, did not appear in a game before transferring. He has been very impressive in camp for the Cowboys. McDowell's just going to heave this bad boy. He's got a man. Caught. Touchdown. McNeese on the board. Jamal Levi. Gary Goff promised us after this game, he would be a household name in Lake Charles.
Yeah, Jamal Levi, absolutely electric speed. You see him there in the slot. He just gives him a slot fade. I'm going to run by you. See you later. Here I go. There goes 6 points for the McNeese Cowboys.
Now we've got the swinging gate. We actually saw this on the opening touchdown from Florida State against Georgia Tech. They went with this look and converted for a 2-point conversion. And it's going to be a pass, a little underthrown, but ultimately complete for the score.
We have a flag in the end zone.
Flag is down.
What beautiful execution of that throw by Clifton McDowell and Jamal Levi.
Offense, 15-yard penalty. Redo the try.
So pass interference on the offense. After all of that, we've got to redo it. But it's not going to wipe the smile off the face of Jamal Levi. Had to take a red shirt after he was hurt last season. Now this will bring out more likely a more traditional PAT look. And that was a 2-point conversion to the long snapper, Javoni Bourbon, that was wiped out. Low snap here on the extra point attempt. Does not matter. It's good. That is a huge response on one play. The first touchdown for Clifton McDowell and Jamal Levi for the Cowboys.
Yeah, that's how you want to do it. How do you bounce back after adversity with the turnover? Hit him for a big play, touchdown, McNeese Cowboys.
McNeese with the score they needed after that early fumble. They take the lead over Tarleton State 7-3. Later today, we'll have the 10th annual FCS kickoff game this year between North Alabama and Southeast Missouri State at 7 Eastern on ESPN. And the 19th annual MEAC SWAC Challenge is Florida A&M against Norfolk State in Atlanta. Our celebration of HBCUs begins at 7:30 Eastern on ABC and ESPN. FAMU getting some love for the preseason top 25. They're right there at number 25, coming off a Celebration Bowl win for the Black College national title a year ago. 24 teams on this FCS level make it to the postseason. The Texans with an opportunity to make it for the first time. Low kick. D'Angelo Rosemond is going to take it just north of the 35-yard line. Second opportunity for Victor Cabales. And this Texans offense drive was stalled after a key play by Micah Davey, the outstanding linebacker for the Cowboys, backed them up.
Coming out second drive, you want to see some consistency with this Texans offense. It seemed like they got a little stalemate and stalled out late in that drive. Let's see how they find a way to find some success in second possession.
It's Cabales and Britton. Britton going left side. Oh, little hesitation. Hit that turbo and take it to the sticks before Thomas Miles brings him down.
And that's good on good right there. We're talking about preseason All-American versus preseason All-American. One-on-one, meet me in the hole. Hey, I'm gone.
Wow, it looks like he's lost in the hole, and then before you know it, Britton explodes. There's 7 yards on that carry. Marcus White, the transfer from Dartmouth, makes the stop.
This is what I talked about, establishing that rhythm right now. Britton back-to-back runs right there, first down. Let's see what they go in third play here.
Britton coming off back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons. That is out in front of Benjamin Omayabu. And Caballas, you can hear him say, my bad on that one. Caballas has shown flashes. I mean, this is a high major D1 guy out of high school, played 2 seasons at Washington State. He can make all the throws. He's hot and he's cold, however.
Yeah, taking care of the football, that's one thing that we heard Coach Austin talk about. We'll see if he can continue to do that, because if he does, he's a dangerous player for this Texans offense.
Completely rebuilt his body in the offseason as well. Coaches say he's all veined up now. Caballas, patience, and hits Keelan Johnson for the first down. Keelan Johnson, the son of the former Texas great receiver, B.J. Johnson. They both can fly, Fozzie.
Yeah, and they got both of the same similar swag. Whenever you see both of them dressed up, catch the ball very well, too.
Now the Texans offense starting to click. Back to the ground, huge hole left side. Britton beats one, a little drop the shoulder to the 25-yard line. 11-yard pickup for the preseason All-American from Cincinnati.
Now we've seen Britton get going. He sets up the hole by being able to stay behind his blockers, gets the linebackers to commit inside, and as soon as they commit, he finds a way to break the edge around 11-yard gain right there. Huge run for this Texans offense.
All 5 starters back on the offensive line. That was Malik Pete and Hunter Smith on the left side, paving the way. Back to Britton, why not? Right side's turn to clear some vacancy, and he's forced out after the 5-yard pickup by Thomas Miles.
Similar to what we saw McNeese do last drive, is start running it, get in that rhythm, be able to start wearing down the defense. They're going sideline to sideline. That's what you want to see. Texans are able to take advantage of that right now.
Now here's the problem if you're an opposing defense. Britton goes out. Darrell Kelly comes in. The year before Britton had a 1,000-yard season, Kelly had a 1,000-yard season here in Stephenville. And Kelly right up the gut, following the blocks of Tuli Deohimo, the standout center, 6-yard pickup.
Just like you mentioned, there's not a huge drop-off between the first back and the second back, as you saw right there. Darrell Kelly actually had himself a game last year whenever they played in the first game. This is going to be a sight to see, is how their 1-2 punch plays out over the course of this day.
Had 136 in the opener against McNeese last year, then tweaked his ankle, which opened up the door for Britton to take over. That is not going anywhere. Stopped in a hurry for a 2-yard loss.
That's what you want to see right there. Penetrate the gap on gap scheme. That is what kills a play right at the line of scrimmage, being able to penetrate and get into the backfield, and that's what McNeese was able to do as they executed properly.
A.J. Thomas with a TFL there. Kelly looking left side, bounces the run. Receivers turn around the block downfield, and Kelly down to the 1-yard line. 13-yard pickup.
Another great run on the ground right here. You see the tight end insert himself, create a very physical block. The defense loses its sideboards again, and somehow this Texas offense finds a way to get outside and take advantage.
Touchdown! Kelly finds the end zone. As dominant as you can get on the ground, testing this McNeese rush defense. It was among the worst last season.
That's what you want to do right there. Force the hand of McNeese. We're going to shove it right down your throat. Can you stop it? The Texans say not today as they score their first touchdown of the 2024 football season.
10 plays, 64-yard drive. The extra point is up and good. 53 of those 64 yards on the ground between Britton and Kelly. This is the definition of hard-nosed Tarleton State Texans football. They take the lead back here in Stephenville, 10-7. An FCS battle going down in Stephenville. You're looking at the winningest head coach in Tarleton State football program history. It is Todd Whitten, who's done it over 15 years in 3 different stints. Fozzie, he's taken this program from almost nothing when he was first here in the mid-90s. They were worried about going from NAIA to D2, and now Division I, with their eye eventually on FBS competition.
Absolutely. He's done a great job of navigating the transitional waters. Texas team look prime and poised right now. First year eligible for the playoffs. So
made it through the 4-year reclassification period with a winning record in all 4 years. Just the 3rd program to do that since 2004. And a lot of these guys have stayed. He takes pride in guys like Darryl Kelly, who could have entered the transfer portal, but did not. He said that they're among the leaders and the fewest amount of players lost annually in the transfer portal.
There's something to that. He obviously has the secret sauce, whatever that sauce is, to be able to keep his players here, loyal and involved. And now they're returning the favor by showing up for him on Saturday, making big plays.
His Texans take the lead, 10-7. Clifton McDowell on his last drive hit Jamal Levi for the first touchdown of the season. And we've got a timeout.
Has used their first timeout. 30 seconds in length.
So Gary Goff elects to use the first timeout of the half for the Cowboys. So it's a very interesting dynamic between these two programs, in that Tarleton State honestly wants to get to where McNeese has been. They played in 2 FCS championship games, but they have since fallen on hard times.
Yeah, and that's something that happens whenever you have the transition that they have. Coach Goff, like we mentioned earlier, going into year number 3, the consistency that you typically see from a program that has done it all the time, it's not there right now. He's in a rebuilding process. He's done a good job bringing in the transfers. And then from Tarleton State side, being able to be consistent, right? That's the next thing. Consistently proving that you can be one of the top teams in the country year after year.
They love Cowboys football in Lake Charles. They're ready to see a winner, and Gary Goff knows that. He aims to deliver. Now will McDowell deliver on drive number 3, engineering this new look Pokes offense. It's going to go to Joshawn Barbie, and Barbie is upended. How about it? Blake Smith. And that's also Brandon Tovert. This is the wild child of the Texans defense and on the play.
Absolutely. First team selection, all United Athletic Conference. He catches Joshawn Barbie in the air and then finishes the deal, slams him to the ground for a minimal 3-yard gain.
Tyrone Nix says that him and Brandon Tovert have the same disposition. They get after it. Let's just put it that way. High intensity individuals. Back to Barbie. Good lead block. And the ball is out. Cassius Kearns, scoop and score. The 5th defensive touchdown for Tyrone Nix and his defense since the start of last season. Unreal.
What an unbelievable play by that defense right there. Just as soon as you think Joshawn Barbie is able to break it off on that counter play, boom, one guy able to knock that out, and then Cassius Kearns happens to be right place, right time. Defensive touchdown number 5, like you mentioned. This defense, they get the ball, and they know what to do whenever they do get their hands on it.
It looked like Cayman Lane had the forced fumble. He was a thorn in the side of the Pokes in the game last year with 2 sacks. Cassius Kearns, really one of the stars of this Texans defense, showing why. How do you explain this, having a knack for the football like that?
It's attitude. Attitude.
29 yards on the return from Kearns. And that extra point is no good. But all positive signs right now for the Texans. The big question mark was on the defense. How would Coach Nix replace nearly half of his starters?
And this here, you're reading it there. Joshawn Barbie finds a way, and then a combination of Dante Stewart and Kamen Lane able to knock the ball out. Right place, right time. Cassius Kearns take advantage. Rumble, young man, rumble, as he takes it all the way to the house for 6. And the Texans further the lead 16-7.
And Fozzie, for a program that is down, you just wonder how many more hits, how many more self-inflicted wounds can McNeese take before they pack it in. It's been a rough ride since the start of last season.
Yeah, this is one of the things. We talked about it earlier. The first time that they fumbled, they gave up 3 points to the opposing team, but then they came back, fired a shot to Jamal Levi, and that was able to kind of curb the effect of the fumble. We'll see what they do now, but you cannot turn the ball over the way that they have already in this first quarter, and you cannot give the opposing team a touchdown in doing so.
I mean, we're talking about a Tarleton State team that arrives in their first season full-fledged in D1 football with respect. Number 21 in the coaches poll. One of 2 programs from Texas ranked in the top 25. UIW out of the Southland, which is the other team. One of 2 from the UAC, Central Arkansas, the other at number 13 overall. So this is a team to reckon with immediately.
Absolutely. You see their presence is being felt. They have a ton of belief around the city right now. Obviously, the school believes in them. Coach Witten has been here and has been a staple. You bring back All-American Kayvon Britton. You bring back All-American Darius Cooper. There's a lot to hope for, and this defense is showing why they're a force to be reckoned with as well.
So McDowell with the lost fumble. Barbie with the lost fumble. Colby Ham now checks in at tailback, and McDowell will keep, and he is chased down. An athletic group of linebackers on display. Caden Holt makes that stop after a 4-yard pickup. He's a junior from New Braunfels Canyon High School. His first season with the Texans after transferring in from Blinn College. He actually played for Coach Nix at UTSA, where Nix was previously a defensive coordinator before taking this job. 2nd and 7. Quick toss to Ham. Ham got hammered.
Got a flag
to be
play.
1 yard shy of the sticks and a flag down.
They are playing very physical right now. That's what you want to see. A defense that's flying around, being aggressive and physical.
Illegal formation, more than 4 in the backfield. Offense. 5-yard penalty. Second down.
So really this story of the game for McNeese is hurting themselves.
Yeah, they're stopping themselves. This is one thing that you have to iron out in the first game, right? Those procedural penalties that can be prevented before the play is even snapped. That eliminates a 6-yard gain that puts them set up in a 3rd and reasonable type of situation. Now you're looking at 2nd and long. What's in the play sheet that allows you to get a chunk play to get back in 3rd and manageable?
2nd and 12. McDowell screen and just dumps it short of Colby Ham. We're also going to see Tarleton State rotate a lot of bodies, especially early in this game, because of the heat. They are hoping they can wear down McNeese as they get into the 4th quarter.
Yeah, depth plays a huge factor whenever you're playing at 230 and the temperature is already creeping into triple digits. That's where you want to see how these guys respond, who's hydrated very well, who's able to sustain themselves and make the big play whenever the game is on the line in the 4th quarter.
You feel guilty at all wearing the AC?
Nope, not at all.
That's my guy, Fozzie Whitaker. 3rd and long for McDowell. The transfer from Montana has all day. Sidearm sling and nowhere close as he was looking for the Purdue transfer, Curtis DeVille.
That was an excellent job by McNeese being able to protect Clifton McDowell in the pocket. He had all day to throw, but Tarleton drops 8. Couldn't find the receiver that they were looking for. Ultimately threw it over his head. Maybe it was a throwaway, but Tarleton State finds the stop that they're looking for.
Punt is off. Caleb Lewis at his 30. This one is short. And we'll let it roll out of bounds. Good field position for Gabalis and the Texans offense to take over to the 42-yard punt.
Going back to that last drive for McNeese, that's why it's critical that you cannot stop yourself. That 5-yard penalty, because they had a legal procedure. Too many men in the backfield. They would have been 3rd and short, 3rd and mid. Now it pushes them back, 2nd and 12, dead play, 3rd and 12, another incompletion, and then you're punting it back to the other team.
So I know we've both been playing EA Sports College Football 25, and the coaching staff for the Texans, they're in tune with that as well. We asked their new play caller, Adam Austin, to describe his offense. He said, well, if you're playing the video game, just look for veer and shoot, which is one of the offenses that you can select, as Kayvon Britton gets the tough 5-yard pickup. And the emphasis of that offense that we're seeing on display here, aggressive downhill runs and aggressive downfield passes. The latter is what we haven't seen quite yet.
Yeah, they haven't had to go to it quite yet. Whenever you have that 1-2 punch that Britton and Kelly have brought to the table and put up the first touchdown for them, might as well keep going to that well until it dries up.
6 carries, 45 yards for the preseason All-American Kayvon Britton. Give him another one. Slipping tackles, spinning and nearly staying up. 8-yard pickup for Britton. He doesn't run like he's 5'7", 195.
Not at all. Young running backs, if you want to read how to set up your blocks, that's exactly what you do. You press the heels of the lineman, fake one way, and then cut it right back inside their block. What a perfect execution of that play right there.
Back to Britton. And he is stopped by Tristan Driggers. Driggers, a transfer from Louisiana Monroe, who played with Clifton McDowell at Kilgore Junior College and was instrumental in getting McDowell to transfer to McNeese. He told his head coach, Gary Goff, McDowell's unhappy at Temple. I think we can get him. Goff's response was, I've been trying to get that guy for years. Second and 10. Gabalis to throw. Scrambling and smartly throwing it away. Dawson Hearn was the closest guy to that pass attempt. Now you mentioned Britton reading his blocks, setting up his blocks. How much does it help to have 5 returning offensive linemen?
That definitely makes a huge difference because he knows their cadence. He's able to understand that they can be in sync because they have the chemistry that allowed him to go over 1,000 yards a season ago, continue on into this new 2024 season.
Bottom of the screen, you have the 2 OU transfers in Cody Jackson and Mikey Henderson. There is a 3rd OU transfer in Trayvon West, number 19. When he's out there, they call it the Sooners package as Todd Witten calls the timeout.
This is its first timeout.
With the play clock winding down. So that's the interesting dynamic for people that haven't watched a ton of FCS football. There is talent on this level. We routinely see guys go in the draft, and the coaches have pointed out Mikey Henderson, number 7, the OU transfer, he is a guy that is on NFL radars right now.
Absolutely, and you look at the rosters on both sides of the ball, right? It's littered with people that were either overlooked or didn't seem like they were the right size qualifications to be one of the most dynamic players. But you can see in this game alone, Kayvon Britton making plays, Daryl Kelly making plays, Darius Cooper making plays, Micah Davey making plays, Clifton McDowell has already scored a touchdown. So the list goes on and on with the talent level at this level, at the FCS level, and it just goes to show you that talent goes anywhere. It doesn't matter where you are. It doesn't matter what position you play. If you can play, go showcase that, and the scouts will find you.
3rd and 10, 46 seconds left to go here in the opening quarter of the first college football game of the year played on U.S. soil. 16-7 lead for Tarleton State. Cabalas looking to move the chains. Good hands there from Javon Davis, the junior from River Ridge, Louisiana. Powerhouse John Curtis High School got that mid in there for the PBU.
Missed last year due to an injury, but you can see his presence is definitely felt. Moved from the outside into that nickel position on Mikey Henderson, who you were talking about, one of the top guys being recruited out of high school. The pass was slightly behind him a little bit in order to allow Javon Davis to make a big play on that, but it's obviously the play that McNeese needed right now to be able to get the ball back.
Matthew McAllister will be back to field this punt for the Cowboys. He's a transfer from Louisiana Tech, so another FBS transfer, and calls for the fair catch. Will it check up? No, that's into the end zone for the touchback. So for as much as gone wrong for McNeese, they got to look at this and say, we've fumbled it a couple of times. We have not executed well offensively, yet we've got the football back with plenty of time. We're in this.
Absolutely. That's what you're going to face throughout the course of the season is adversity, but how you bounce back from that adversity. You have a fumble, okay, let's bounce back with the touchdown. You have another fumble that resulted in the other team getting a touchdown where we had to punt. Now your defense gives you an opportunity. They stop the opposing offense. How do we respond? It's our turn to be able to put some pressure on this Texans defense now.
Does McDowell look like a guy that's been in this offense for 4 weeks?
I do believe there's still some growing pains.
Yeah.
And I think there's limitations that he will continue to grow past as he gets more comfortable in this offense.
See a lot of trust in Barbie. He's back in the game even after that fumble. And a quick pass to Jermichael Carter. And Carter picks up 4 yards. He had 3 catches for 56 yards as a true freshman last season. A lot of these McNeese football players forced to play as true freshmen last year. They had 2 recruited scholarship seniors on the roster for season number 2 for Gary Goff. As we come down to the end of the first quarter, Fossey, fireworks, man. We've had big plays on both sides of the football. This is how you start off the college football season.
Couldn't ask for anything better. Looking excited to see what the second quarter has in store.
An emotional day here in Stephenville, Texas. The Texan rider is out. Daryl Cooper getting into the end zone for the Texans for the first time as a full-fledged D1 member. This is a Tarleton State program that had the 4th best attendance at the FCS level a year ago. But we talked to Coach Witten, wasn't sure how many they would have come out for this opener because of the combination of the heat. And he also said it's a really big deal playing on a national network for the first time. He anticipated there would be a good chunk of Texans fans watching from home just to see what that is like. Start of the second quarter here, 2nd and 6 for Clifton McDowell. A native Texan from Spring. Started off his career at Louisiana, or as they refer to it at McNeese, Louisiana Lafayette, before going to Kilgore, Central Arkansas, Montana Temple, and now McNeese. That's Joshawn Barbie with first down yardage. So we have a McNeese program here that is actually outgaining the Texans. However, they look up at the scoreboard, 16-7, and easy to understand why, some of those miscues. 9 carries, 55 yards for Joshawn Barbie. It was a battle between these 2 teams in last year's opener, with McNeese actually leading in the 3rd quarter before the Texans rattled off 35 unanswered points. Texans defense moving the Cowboys backwards for a loss of 3 yards.
There's Cassius Kearns again, making a play, being able to read it, and then get into the backfield, force that TFL.
And a big welcome to a new audience on ESPN as Tarleton State is celebrating a monumental day here in Stephenville, Texas. playing their first game as a full-fledged Division I member. That means they are postseason eligible. So big debut for them. Big debut for that quarterback for McNeese as well. That is Clifton McDowell, who a year ago led the Montana Grizzlies to the FCS National Championship game, falling short to South Dakota State. There is hope in Lake Charles that he can be the reason that this team experiences a turnaround after a winless season on the field. They had one win because of a forfeit a year ago. A 3rd and 10 opportunity for McDowell as his Cowboys trail 16-7. Cowboys 0 for 2 today here on 3rd down. McDowell feeling the pressure, stepping up, nowhere to go. Brandon Tolvert, preseason all-conference with his 2nd huge stop of the afternoon.
3rd down woes right there. You're dropping 3 from the defensive side of the ball. That's what you want to see executed. 5 on 3. If you can continue to get pressure in the way that Bino Tolvert was able to do right there, then that's going to set up a long day for the opposing offense, as they are now 0 for 3 on 3rd down in this game.
The Texans have a defensive touchdown to their credit, their 5th since the start of last season. It was a scoop and score by Cassius Kearns. Long punt to the 20. And Lewis bottled up. Let's bring the Texans offense back out. Top 15 a year ago on the FCS level in points per game and yards per game. They are led by 2 preseason All-Americans. At running back, it's the diminutive 5'7" Kayvon Britton wearing number 4 on his chest, and Darius Cooper, the wide receiver out of St. Louis, who numerous FBS programs tried to poach in the offseason.
Yeah, both of those guys are coveted players, obviously All-Americans like you mentioned. They're playing like that so far today. Kayvon Britton has ripped off some big runs. Darius Cooper, we haven't seen a ton of him quite yet, already has a catch on the day. Look for him to get involved in this drive coming up for the Texans.
Texans lost their offensive coordinator in the offseason, Mason Miller, now the offensive line coach of the Baylor Bears. Victor Gabalis lofting this and overthrowing Keelan Johnson. The man can flat out fly, but that was a little too far out of his reach.
That's a missed opportunity right there by that Texans offense. Whenever you have an opportunity to be able to take advantage of press coverage like that, you can't miss on those big shots, because that's a big opportunity waiting to happen.
Gabalis, transfer from Washington State in his 2nd season as a starter for Tarleton. Just 3 of 8 for 18 yards to start this game. Thrown to the far side, it's low, but caught by Darius Cooper, and there is the preseason All-American who missed time with injuries last season, but still finished with 88.9 receiving yards per game. Number 11 in the FCS.
That was a long throw and reception right there. Gain of 8. Brings it down 3rd and long, or 3rd and short. A long one for them to try to convert right here for the Texans.
Britton to Cabalis' left. And it goes to Britton. And Britton steams forward. Micah Davey makes the stop, but not after a 5-yard pickup.
We've now heard Micah Davis' name on a lot of these tackles. We got to see him continue to be that force and that factor for this defense. Kayvon Britton getting going as well on this drive. Texans look like they're moving in a way that they should.
10 of 11 offensive starters returning for the Texans. And what happened there, Fozzie? Keelan Johnson was the closest guy, and he was not even in the area code.
Yeah, with this offense, we talked to Coach Austin yesterday. There are a lot of option routes for these receivers to be able to run. So if they're read one coverage, that receiver can change their route in the middle of the play and then be able to get open or find separation. The quarterback and the receiver looked like they were just off on what route Keelan would be running, and resulted in that long incompletion right there.
Receivers run what the coaching staff calls get open routes. Really a mesh of the air raid and the run and shoot coming together here in Stephenville, Texas. Britton stymied. Marcus White, an Ivy League man, former two-time All Ivy League selection out of Dartmouth, makes a stop.
That's huge right there, big guy. You unblocked, being able to read the quarterback, making sure you take care of your responsibility first. He ensures that and then finds a way to get Britton down in the backfield for a no gain. Brings up 3rd and long for the Texans offense now.
Cabales with a clean pocket. The razor focus over the middle to Darius Cooper. Not a big window there, but completes it for 16 yards.
We talked a little bit earlier about what it means to have 5 returning starting offensive linemen. Well, they gave him the time to sit comfortably in the pocket. Whenever you have time in the pocket, you can deliver strikes like that for a 16-yard gain for the first down.
Cabales to throw again. Now he's in rhythm. Cooper, make you miss. Oh, lowering the shoulder as well. Out of St. Louis, showing some of those Luther Burden-like moves.
Again, this is the expectation. Get the ball to this man. Preseason All-American. Just find a way to get it to him. He hadn't been involved prior to this drive. Now we've seen him make several big plays. 14-yard gain right there.
And now the Texans pick up the tempo. Britton at long mesh, and Britton is dropped behind the line, and Simeon Mitchell makes a stop. Mitchell, one of the newcomers for this Cowboys defense that needs help. 118 overall last season in scoring defense, 111 overall in total defense. And that was tackle for loss number 4 for this Cowboys defensive squad. Cabales, he was looking Cooper's way. That falls incomplete.
That rhythm there seems to be just a little bit off right there. A little bit of fatigue may have been a factor. Remember, that heat is definitely a part of what makes that fatigue happen so much earlier. The amount of rotation and substitutions that we've seen early on in this game have already been noticed. We'll see how that plays out on this next play as they try to pick up another 3rd and 10 opportunity.
Cabales went for 344 against McNeese last year in the opener. Just got 58 so far. Slinging it sidearm style to Kayvon Britton. And Britton's going to be close to that first down marker.
Right here, you see him go through his reads. He has all day to be able to deliver the strike. Finds his check down guy, Kayvon Britton. Now it puts you in 4th and 1. It looks and appears as though the Texans will go for this attempt.
4th and a long one to get Darrell Kelly, the running back. Cabales has become more involved this offseason in the run game, but it is going to be Kelly. He had that critical 1-yard touchdown run earlier. Now he moves the chains before Bugsy Silvera brings him down. Slow, methodical drive. I would imagine with this heat in the mid-90s on this turf, tough to be out there this long for the McNeese defense.
Absolutely, they're wearing down. Then that was the 4th down conversion. Keeps the ball in the Texans' hands. What a great pickup and a block right there.
Play number 12 of the drive, shot to the end zone. How did he do it? Keelan Johnson, just like his pops, BJ, back in the day in Austin.
Like father, like son, 26 yards, one-on-one. They missed on this opportunity on the very first play of the drive. Well, guess what? Keelan says, I am still open. Throw me the rock. I'm going to make a play, and that's exactly what he did there as he finds his way into the end zone for 6 points.
And that is a prototypical Tarleton State touchdown drive. They beat you down with the downhill run and then the aggressive downfield throw to cap that scoring drive. Extra point is good. 12 plays, 83 yards, 4 minutes, 34 seconds. culminating with this touchdown. Victor Gabalis balling to his man, Keelan Johnson, who can flat out fly and go up and get it. Stephenville, Texas, campus of Tarleton State University. This place looks entirely different than if you were here 4 years ago, before this university started that transition from D2 to D1. Everything has changed in a matter of 4 years. The new field house beyond the south end zone opened before the start of last season. And Fonzie, there's a new basketball arena going up across the street. Looks like it could host an NBA team.
Yeah, the event center, it looking like it is coming up nicely. The renovations done across the entire stadium. This is A1 whenever you start talking about facilities here located in the state of Texas.
And you could just feel the energy here on campus. Electric, to say the least. Short kick, and that will be fielded at the 27-yard line. So another opportunity here for Clifton McDowell to get something going for this McNeese offense. We saw the opening possession of the game. McDowell lost a fumble, came back strong though, that long touchdown pass to Jamal Levi. Since then, they've been moving the football, but haven't been able to sustain a drive.
Yeah, the penalties were key of that last drive of stopping them, which would have put them in that 3rd and short situation. Now they went into a 3rd and long situation. We'll see if they can stay on schedule without preventing themselves from getting caught up and playing behind the sticks.
And all eyes are on him. Just saw his head coach, Gary Goff, has mentioned that McDowell gives confidence to the offense, the defense, and the staff. He makes them believe they have a shot. McDowell following the block from Travante Citizen, can't get that far as Tolvert makes another stop. So good to see him in a good headspace. It's been a tough offseason for this young man.
It's incredible to see the plays that he was able to make. We talked about it preseason, conference player, not even starting, but finds a way to be impactful on the field, and you saw it show up right there as he was able to corral in Clifton McDowell for that no gain. In
a span of 2 weeks this offseason, lost both of his grandmothers that were very influential in his life. He was in a pretty dark place. But Tyrone Nix, his defensive coordinator, they've butted heads before, but they really solidified their bond in the way that Nix helped Tolvert process those emotions. And Nix takes so much pride that this program is not afraid to express themselves, even though the game of football is such a masculine game. Tolvert needed him, and Nix was there for him.
That's the reason why you see so many commit to this program and stay committed within this program. He's a shining example of that.
3rd and 7 for McDowell. McDowell slips one sack attempt, and it is picked off. Omar Evans. That how you make your debut for a program. He was a ball hawk at Mississippi Valley State, where he was an All-American last season. His first big play here in Stephenville.
Right on cue, we just talked about Tolvert and his impact that he's already had. Last play was able to bring down Clifton McDowell for that no gain. Now you look at him one-on-one with the tackle. He finds a way to get around, be able to force the pressure for Clifton McDowell not to be able to set his feet. And then whenever the ball is thrown high, tips and overthrows, the DBs always are looking for that opportunity to come down with it. And Omar is no stranger to interceptions as they come away with another takeaway for this Texans defense.
We were a little surprised considering he was an FCS All-American last season. He was not listed as a starter in this game, and the coaches just brought up the point, just give him some time. Very tremendous athlete. Needs more attention to detail. He had it right there. Darryl Kelly picks up 3 yards. Turnover number 3 for McNeese.
That's not what you want to see whenever you're coming out for your first game, and then obviously trying to make a statement as a new team. Some of the same woes that were happening in 2023 seem to be following them now in 2024.
Gabala side throws. Cooper slips another tackle into the open field to the 30. How is he staying up? That is contact courage, contact balance for Darius Cooper, 32 yards.
What an unbelievable play by the All-American right there. Again, just get it to him, 5 yards. Find a way to make the defender miss. He breaks 2 tackles, almost breaks the 3rd one there, and he plays very similar to Steve Smith.
No one knew who this guy was out of high school. He was a wishbone quarterback, making a name for himself at the receiver spot here at Tarleton. Going back to the ground with Darrell Kelly. Why do you think it is a guy like Cooper decides to stay at a building program like this?
Well, whenever you talk to Coach Witten has a ton of love for his players. He has a ton of love for this program, and what he's been able to establish from a cultural standpoint, you see it resonate through all of these players, and I think that's the biggest deciding factor to keep them here in Stephenville.
Back on the ground, Darrell Kelly. 1-yard pickup, Tristan Driggers with the stop. That will set up a 3rd down for a absolutely loaded Texans offense. A little over 4 minutes to go before we hit the half. First half dominated by Tarleton State. McNeese has certainly helped the cause with 3 turnovers. Gabalis looks right side, coming back left, decides to scramble, and there is nothing there. Looks like he lost a half-yard on the play as Dominic Bolden, the junior from Round Rock, brings him down for the loss. Field goal unit on hand. Talk about making a statement. Michael James made a statement on the opening drive for the Texans, nailing that 53-yarder.
He made it look very easy. He could have made that from 60 with the amount of distance he had on that kick.
This one from 34 yards for the sophomore from Rockwall. And his 2nd field goal of the afternoon. So another McNeese turnover leads to points for Tarleton State as that Omar Emmons INT turns into 3. .27 lead for Tarleton State. The Texans playing in their first game as a postseason eligible D1 program. Here's our Labor Day weekend ESPN and ABC college football lineup starting on Thursday night with Dion in Colorado hosting North Dakota State to start us off. The Bison, number 2 overall in the FCS preseason poll. Then we got Temple OU Friday night, tripleheader Saturday, then Sunday night, number 23 USC taking on number 13 LSU in Las Vegas. LSU, as the folks at Lake Charles may call it, the other team in Louisiana. Fuzzy, I know school spirit is a really big deal, but if you're one of them, the Plowboys, chaps, jeans, long sleeves on a day like this, that's toughness right there.
Absolutely. The level of commitment is 100% in the same way that this team has committed to Todd Whitten.
Corey O'Brien inside the 10. And O'Brien will bring it out about the 27-yard line. There they are. Fossey's got his chaps ready to go. Maybe after this break, we'll see. Reason to believe here in Stephenville, Texas, that the Tarleton State Texans can make the FCS 2014 playoff field in season number 1 of eligibility. By their math, they felt like they would have qualified if had the opportunity, even submitted a waiver request to the NCAA, which was denied. So watch the postseason from home. Preseason top 25 ranking and a loaded roster on both sides. Clifton McDowell, there's a strike as he finds Jermarco Carter. 9-yard pickup. All right, give me a coaching point on McDowell here. What do we need to see?
Consistency and a rhythm. Right now, it doesn't seem as though he's comfortable back there in the pocket. Obviously, being pressured creates some of that uncomfortableness that we've seen show out. But if they can find a way to get in rhythm, maybe quicker plays, continue to establish the run, that'll take some of the pressure off of his shoulders that he's experiencing.
So 2:30 left to go here in the first half. One dominated by a methodical Texans run game and miscues by McNeese. Now this is McDowell's game. That's what he does best. The reason why he emerged on the scene in Missoula as the guy after a slow start from Montana last year. Won the starting job, led the Grizz to 10 straight wins in the FCS championship game. And that brings us to the 2-minute timeout. This is the equivalent of your two-minute warning in professional football. So we'll take a break, and then the final 2 of the first half when we return from Tarleton State. Lloyd Galindo here with Fozzie Whitaker, back from the 2-minute timeout. One of the new rule changes here in Division I football. We have that on the FBS and FCS level. Works the same way as a 2-minute warning in the NFL. In-helmet communication now on the FBS level. Now, if an FCS team goes on the road to take on an FBS team, they can have headsets, but these two programs said they probably won't go that direction. Tablets now allowed on the sidelines for in-game video. That is both at the FBS and FCS level. Tarleton was out here on their home field, Memorial Stadium, testing out those tablets on Thursday. As Barbie with a short run. McNeese has 2 timeouts left. As they look for a score before halftime. McDowell will run left side. Nothing there initially, bounces it out, and then goes backwards. As Bam Smith, living up to his name, junior from St. Thomas Aquinas, makes a stop. That will set up a 3rd and 4. How big is this play here, Fozzie?
This is a huge 3rd down opportunity. They are 0-4 on 3rd down today. This could give them an opportunity to keep the chains moving, but ultimately try to score points before halftime.
And don't want to give the ball back to the Texans with time and timeouts still available. McDowell straight up the middle. This is going to be really close. And it looks like the initial spot is a 1st down for Clifton McDowell. McDowell with time, and on the spot to Tyrone Hayes, the junior from New Orleans. Had only 2 catches a year ago. That's good for 19 yards.
This is what happens when he's a lot more comfortable in the pocket. He's able to find his tight end. Tyrone Hayes catches it, gets out of bounds, saves some time. They still got 1:15 to work on the clock.
Back to the ground with Barbie. And Barbie gets 1. Barbie has been very active. 12 carries, 56 yards.
Has used their 2nd timeout. It will be 30 seconds in length. Please put 103 on the game clock.
McNeese decides to take the timeout. They've got 1 remaining.
Thank you.
A great start to the college football season. Coming up later, we got the 10th annual FCS kickoff game this year between North Alabama and Southeast Missouri State at 7 Eastern on ESPN. And then the 19th annual MEAC SWAC Challenge as Florida A&M against Norfolk State and Atlanta. Our celebration of HBCUs begins at 7:30 Eastern on ABC and ESPN. Now, this game was originally scheduled about mid-September, but when the opportunity presented itself to put Tarleton State on national TV for the first time in program history, both sides decided, let's move it up to week 0. Now they got a bye week in mid-September.
I think that works out very well for both of these teams, getting this opportunity to be able to showcase who they are in week 0. First game that started on U.S. soil, and I think we have not had disappointment quite yet with football happening back again this Saturday.
It's good to have it back, Fozzie. Good to be with you once again, my friend. Setting up what will be the longest season in Tarleton State program history. 2nd and 9, the Cowboys trying to get inside the red zone for the first time today. Barbie, football is out. Kearns demolished them. And it is Texans football. Takeaway number 4 for the Tarleton State defense.
What an unbelievable play. Cassius Kearns has been all over the field, already has a return for a touchdown. Now we see right here, Joshawn Barbie sneaks out of the backfield. He forces another fumble and then finds a way to end up. Reward yourself, young fella. You are having yourself a day. Cassius Kearns making his presence felt right now on the football field for the Tarleton Texans.
And you saw him looking at that rock as well. He was thinking scoop and score.
Oh, he was trying to get another
70
touchdown.
yards.
Absolutely. This guy has been on it from the first chance. And then you see Tyrone Nix right there celebrating with him. Another turnover for this defense. This is what they lived by in 2023. We're starting to see that translate already early in week 0. First game of the year. 4 turnovers, 4 takeaways forced by this Texans defense.
Nick says that Kearns lays it on the line every day. He laid the wood there. Reverse action. Mikey Henderson, the OU transfer, taking it out to the 39-yard line. He was a number 132 ranked overall recruit in the class of 2020 when he signed with the Oklahoma Sooners. Had 12 catches for 168 as a freshman. And now here he is making a name for himself in Stephenville. 46 seconds left. To the ground with Britton. Britton can make the big play happen, close to a first down before Silvera makes a stop. Give him 8 yards.
Operation has to move quickly right here. Time is ticking. They still have 2 timeouts left. They got to use them wisely, but get downfield for a chunk play here.
Little surprise, Texans aren't going a little faster as that one is for Henderson. And Henderson out of bounds, 3 yards and the first down. But this is essentially what the Texans do. They lull you to sleep with the short plays, especially on the ground, and then they hit you over the top like we saw from Keelan Johnson a little earlier. Henderson checks out. Benjamin Omayabu checks in at the slot. Still 2 timeouts for Tarleton State. Britton, he gets going in a heartbeat. Jump cut to the outside, to the 40, to the 35-yard line. 14 yards for the preseason All-American.
Just whenever you think they're going to pass it down the field, Kayvon Britton says, oh, don't forget about me. I can still run the ball very well and very efficiently. Gets out of bounds, saves the timeout for the Texans.
12 seconds, 2 timeouts. Back to Britton. Looks like the Texans playing for a field goal here. Down to 7 seconds left And Todd Witten looking at the clock and calling a timeout here with 7 remaining. This is still in the territory of a long field goal attempt for Michael James, who made a 53-yarder earlier in the game. What do you think of the approach here from the Texans with plenty of time once they started after that turnover?
I truly thought they'd be a little bit more aggressive firing it down the field. The success that they've been able to have, riding that momentum, but ultimately, whenever you see it, hey, your guy can make a 53-yarder. He's already shown that. Got the wind in his face a little bit this way.
Yeah.
I expect the play right here to be able to center the ball to wherever the kicker's preference is, whether that's stay on the right hash, move it more in the middle, or move it all the way to the left hash in order to allow them to have a better position in making this field goal.
Can you take a shot with 7 seconds left?
I think it's pretty difficult. I don't think that's the safe play here. If you try to throw it up too high, I don't think that results very well. Now, quick out, maybe a hitch route on the outside, then get right out of bounds. You have enough time to be able to do that, but you got to do it safely, and you got to make sure it's still to the side or the preference that the kicker likes to kick from.
Michael James getting his warm-ups in. See if the Texans can cut down this yardage. Darrell Kelly is the running back. And you're exactly right, Fozzie. Victor Gabalis is just going to try to get a couple and center this one up for Michael James. Timeout comes with 3 seconds off on the clock.
30 seconds.
And this should be our final play before we go to halftime. Keep in mind, it was McNeese that came out. They got the first touchdown of this game. After the early turnover by Clifton McDowell, Tarleton was able to come down and get a field goal from that man, Michael James, the 53-yarder. But then McDowell was able to come back with that long touchdown strike to Jamal Levi for 43 yards. So they held the 7-3 lead, but just too many turnovers. You're not going to have a shot against a great team like this. You can't take care of the football. 46 yards. Hit from Michael James. He's 2 for 2 so far this afternoon. Jared White, the holder. And McNeese now wants to call a timeout. Make Michael James think about it just a little bit.
I'm always curious to see how that impacts a kicker.
Yeah.
And then I always think about, if a kicker kicks it, you know, sometimes they go through that motion and they kick it, and now they have to repeat that process once again. How does that affect you?
To me, I'm always curious about, if everybody always calls a timeout, aren't you maybe then freezing the kicker if you don't call the timeout?
Reverse psychology.
Yeah.
We'll see.
We're spending way too much time getting into the heads of kickers. That's an impossible task to begin with. What are we doing here? 46-yard attempt for Michael James. Did the timeout work for McNeese? Let's find out. Into the wind. And a successful timeout call by Gary Goff, because that one is no good. But that is the man that got the Texans on the board first. Tarleton State, a tremendous first half of football. They lead 26-7. It's been a lot of Kayvon Britton on the ground. 4 takeaways by the Texans defense, doing the trick as well. Coming up, go to the studio with Matt Berry, Sam Acho, and Trevor Maddich. Week 0 here in Stephenville, Texas, as Tarleton State is playing their first game as a full-fledged member of D1 football. That means they are eligible for the FCS postseason. And right now, a commanding 26-7 lead over McNeese. Lo Galindo here with Fozzie Whitaker. See the numbers for Joshawn Barbie. They look good, but what that doesn't show is he's part of the turnovers that have been an issue for McNeese. 2 of them alone coming from Barbie.
Yeah, absolutely. That's been the main takeaway for this McNeese offense, is being able to take care of the football if you don't take care of the football, that's going to give the Texans an opportunity to score points, and that's what the Texans did. 26 in the first half for Tarleton State.
Talk so much about this Texans offense coming into the year. 10 returning starters from a team that was top 15 nationally last season in scoring offense and total offense. But, man, this defense has not skipped a beat. They were probably the question mark. They lost about half their starters to graduation. And with the new look McNeese offense, it has some weapons. Let's be honest, they've got weapons. It has been the start that this staff was looking for defensively. 4 takeaways. That is how you get it going.
Absolutely. I'm sure they've been tired all offseason hearing, oh, the offense is going to be good. The offense is going to be good. The offense has great players. And then nobody talks about the defense. Well, the defense is making that known. Tyrone Nix, whenever we sat down with him, he talked about the attitude that they wanted to possess, playing aggressive, being physical, and that's what they're showcasing. And then getting the ball hawks, turning or making takeaways, getting the opposite team to turn the ball over.
And for the start of the second half, the Texans will make a change at quarterback. This is Jaden Pete. Pete is a junior from Bush High School in Houston. And Pete actually had a really good camp and pushed Gabalis. So we don't know at this point if this is trying to get him a rep, reward him a little bit, or if there's something going on with Gabalis. But it's more of the same, ground and pound to Kayvon Britton for 5 yards.
I think that's what's still going to be very consistent, is being able to have a heavy dosage of Kayvon Britton, who already had 88 yards in the first half. Being able to rely and lean on him is obviously a positive thing for this Texans offense.
Gabalis had a slow start, finished the first half 11 of 18, and here is Jaden Pete, and his receiver Darius Cooper slips and falls.
It looked like he was trying to do a double move there. Had he stayed up, that would have been a huge gain.
Oh, he's gone.
Feet got tangled up. The ball was there. Obviously a missed opportunity right there. Jaden Pete probably wishes he could have that one back.
Tangled up with starting corner Levi Wyatt on that play. 3rd and 5 here for Jaden Pete. Began his career at Sul Ross State out in Alpine, Texas, when that was a D3 program, as that pass sails high for Benjamin Omayabu. And a 3-and-out to start the second half for the Texans. What do you make of that if Gabalis is healthy and that's just a changeup?
Well, on the sideline, you can see they're looking like they're looking at Gabalis' hand. Maybe it's taped up. There's something black around it, so there could have been something that went on. Maybe he hit a helmet. I don't know. I'm speculating from that standpoint that they're looking and attending to him on the sideline for something. That could be a huge change in the approach that the Texans take offensively.
Matthew McAllister back to return this punt. And it rolls to the 31-yard line. So we'll keep our eyes on Gabalis. He is on the sideline. He's talking to a coach or a trainer. He's got his helmet with him. We saw the change at quarterback with Jaden Pete coming out for that first series. For McNeese, didn't start well with that early Clifton McDowell fumble. He came back strong, though, on that bomb. 43-yard passing touchdown to Jamal Levi. Outside of that, though, it has been plagued by miscues offensively. You cannot establish a rhythm when you keep giving the football away. 6 of 10, 75 yards, 1 touchdown, an interception, and a lost fumble as well. They'll start the second half with Colby Ham at tailback. Surprised that we haven't seen D'Angelo Durham or Trevante Citizen a little bit more at tailback.
I am. D'Angelo Durham was their leading rusher a season ago. Also, in this very first game, he started at the running back position and did very well. Had a touchdown in that game. I'm very curious to see what was the difference between last year and this year to bring D'Angelo Durham from the starting position now as the 4th-string running back.
59 new players on this McNeese program that did not win a game on the field last season. McDowell to throw, he's hit, and it was nearly takeaway number 5 through the hands of Dante Stewart.
Yeah, if you look at the footwork of McDowell, it doesn't seem as though he ever was feeling comfortable in the pocket. He was kind of moving around, fidgeting, and then fires it, not seeing that lurking defender right there. And that's an opportunity that Dante Stewart probably wishes he could have back. He probably won't get an easier one than the one he just dropped right there.
Third down has been a challenge all day. 1 of 5 for the Pokes. Clifton McDowell feeling the pressure in his face by Caden Holt. Running for his life, will not elude Cayman Lane. The man that already has a forced fumble so far today sets up that loss of 4.
Again, you bring some pressure. Trying to keep him in containment in the pocket is what you would like, but still being able to have the team speed and the athleticism that Cayman Lane showed right there got the Texans off of the field on 3rd down, and now you see McNeese getting ready to punt the ball away.
Caleb Lewis is a man back to return the punt. And this one is off. A boomer checking up at the 20. A solid punt there, 51 yards for McNeese. Texans get the football back when we return. So here's the situation with the returning starting quarterback, Victor Cabales for Tarleton State. He now has that right hand wrapped up with the black tape. We have not received official word from Tarleton State on why he is not in the game, but that wrap job is new on the hand. And because of that, Jaden Pete is back at quarterback for the second series to begin this second half. Cabal is obviously a big piece to the puzzle for this Texans offense. Pete looking sideline. It's good if you're a quarterback trying to get some confidence to look for that man, Darius Cooper. He's got 4 yards on that reception.
Again, that throw is not a short throw either. Jaden Pete made it look very easy, and it helps whenever Darius Cooper comes back to the ball to be able to solidify that. Now you're looking at staying on target, being able to pick up good yardage on 1st down.
It's also great to be a quarterback, trying to get that familiarity with the offense and get comfortable. When you look to your left and it's Kayvon Britton, preseason All-American at running back. Pete will pull it from Britton, and good pursuit there by Macy Lewis. Steven Johnson also in hot pursuit. Johnson, transfer from the Auburn Tigers. But Jaden Pete making his debut here with the Texans. Began his career D3, Sul Ross State. Wasn't a good fit for him, went back home. Thought about hanging him up for a short while, then emerged at Tyler Junior College. And out of nowhere, he started flashing, and people were like, who is this guy? Todd Wooten and this Texans program took notice, signed him up, and now here he is in a big situation. Season opener, he lost his helmet, but got out of that tackle somehow before Bugsy Silvera brings him down. Macy Lewis had the initial pressure there, and Pete showing that athleticism just to get away from this.
Absolutely. Look at the pressure right there. Bringing it off of the edge and then on the inside, Macy Lewis finishes the job. Now you cannot continue to play after your helmet has been removed, and that is something that the officials are looking at.
Personal foul, face mask, number 49, defense, grasping the opening of a helmet. 15-yard penalty from the previous spot, and then automatic 1st down.
This is really indicative of the afternoon for McNeese. Even when it looks like a standout play by Macy Lewis, they end up hurting themselves. And Lewis, probably like all of us, he wants to see a replay of that.
It's just unfortunate. McNeese has found a way yet again to stop themselves whenever they create momentum. You're looking at a 3rd and long situation that they had an opportunity to be able to get the ball back with good territory, and then another penalty, costly penalty, gives the Texans a 1st down.
Pete, with helmet on, decides to go back to the running game, and it's a stop right at the line of scrimmage. As this rebuilt McNeese defensive line holding strong. That's A.J. Thomas in there with the stop. Starting center for the Texans, Tuli Deohimo, senior from Arlington, heart and soul of this offensive line. One of the most energetic players among the big nasties. And Britton just refuses to be stopped, Fozzie. The legs keep churning, and he's able to pick up 4.
This is what happens whenever you keep your legs churning in a way that Kayvon Britton is, not to mention 5'7", it kind of helps you hide behind your offensive lineman. Pop one way and then pop the other way. Pop goes the weasel. Kayvon Britton finds a way to turn nothing into something.
Tell you what, number 88 in purple on that play, impressive as well. It's the tight end, H-back Dawson Hearn. Did a great job blocking there. Texans coaching staff say he's a guy that could get some looks at the next level. Pete looking right, coming back left, and that ball is dropped by Cody Jackson. Cody Jackson, first year at Tarleton after transferring from Houston. He was here on campus last year, but did not play in that transfer season. Originally signed with OU as the 122nd overall prospect, the class of 2021. So 4th down, here we go.
The second third down stop that McNeese was able to put together. Obviously, this one didn't end in a penalty, but great job by that defense being able to force a stop.
Adrian Guzman to punt. Had some pressure in his face. McAllister retreating. And here's the situation. McNeese has not played good football. They're down 26-7. If they can get something going on this upcoming drive, we've got a game. That's a big if at this point. Nothing like being surrounded by concrete and metal on a 97-degree summer day. Fuzzy, it is summertime. Let's make no mistake about it. But the Tarleton State students, they're out supporting their team, having a great time with this on a huge day on this campus. Their team leading 26-7. Here's our Labor Day weekend ESPN and ABC college football lineup starting on Thursday night. North Dakota State. They're taking on Coach Prime in Colorado. Bison ranked number 2 in the preseason coaches poll on the FCS level. Temple, the program that Clifton McDowell looked like he was going to be the starting quarterback for. They're on the road against OU. And then the Aflac kickoff game, Clemson in Georgia. We move on Saturday, the U at Florida. The first of that triple header, huge game for both of those programs. As that is Ty Rawls getting the backfield. Sam linebacker sacking Clifton McDowell. We do have a flag down.
Penalties declined. Second up.
Declining that penalty, so give Rawls that sack. Loss of 5 yards. Rawls in his second season here in Stephenville after 3 years at Jones College. Large group of guys that formed the foundation of this team that believed in this transition to Division I football under Todd Whitten. As Trevante Citizen checks into the game. When there was not a lot to that vision, they started that transition period without a conference. First year of the transition, they play 3 home games, and they are traveling way outside the state of Texas for the majority of their matchups. But they stuck around, they believed, and went and brought up just how difficult it is to recruit when you don't have a conference. Because first off, parents want to watch their kids play, and they brought up the point, how can you be a conference champ or all conference if you don't have a conference to begin with? McDowell with the flag down. Great hands, but lit up is Citizen. Smoking. 16-yard pickup. Tyrell's get in the middle of everything. Let's figure out what this flag is about.
Holding. Number 54. Offense. Half the distance to the goal from his previous spot. Third down.
And that is tough because you have first down yardage. Your player gets lit up. And because of that hold, you're moving backwards. That's David Duval at center. They've had to reshuffle this offensive line for this game. He's the backup center under most normal circumstances. William Bresci penciled in, the D2 transfer from Southwest Baptist, to be the starting center this year. He had to slide over to right guard with Dylan Dozart out with a minor injury for this game. McDowell's just going to take this one up the middle. And McDowell hit by A.J. Owens. Transfer from Hutchinson Community College, and it will set up a 4th down. There is William Bresci. They have high hopes for him. One of 59 new players on this McNeese roster. What do you think that's like? Breaking in 59 new guys to a system and to a culture.
It's an entirely different identity. I think that's something that Coach Goff is working towards. This offseason isn't just enough time to be able to build a camaraderie. As they go through the season, they're going to have to continue to do that so that they're playing on the same page.
Punt is away from Finn Lappin. Freshman from Australia. Caleb Lewis fumbling it around, slips through one, and can't escape the second tackle attempt by Reggie Ellis, transfer from Tulsa. So we have received word from Tarleton State about the condition of their quarterback, Victor Cabales. So right now he has an upper extremity injury. He's being evaluated by the training staff. He is questionable to return. It helps when you have a backup you believe in. Also helps when you have a 26-7 lead, Fozzie.
Absolutely. Somebody that's played in a lot of football already. Jaden Pete has showcased a little bit, but the offense has stuttered since he's been able to take over in the second half. We'll see if they can get that going now with their third opportunity, third possession in the second half.
Hurd in motion. And this is Darrell Kelly. Kelly finding a seam to the 30-yard line. Give him 6. John Quay Lewis with the stop. Flag is down. And so is McNeese player. Unfortunately, Micah Davey is down.
Personal foul. Illegal block below the waist. Number 51. Offense. Half the distance to the goal. First down.
So that goes against Dylan Brooks. But right now, the biggest cause of concern is the condition of the preseason All-American Micah Davey. So Davey wearing number 48 in the middle of your screen. And that's where that low contact occurs.
Which is obviously the penalty that was called. It'll be assessed against Tarleton State. And that's why that block is taken out of the game now. It's the first penalty by Tarleton State in this game. And it's obviously going to cost them majorly, but it may cost McNeese a little bit more with Micah Davey being down right now.
Micah Davey, the son of a college football legend, Rohan Davey. Star quarterback at LSU, the first Tigers quarterback with over 3,000 passing yards in a season. Michael remembers watching his dad play in the Arena League, and he went to hug him after a game, and Rohan was in pain, and it was tough for Micah to hug his dad, and he asked why, and Rohan told him, I just broke a couple of ribs. And at that point, Micah made up his mind he was going to play defense.
It's probably a smart decision. He's obviously had a successful career on the other side of the ball, being a freshman All-American, and then doubling down on that effort, being named an All-American last season, and then preseason All-American. Now you hope the best for him.
And he had options. After a winless season, he could have gone somewhere else in the transfer portal. There were offers and opportunities out there, but he wants to stay the course with this program under Gary Goff and help turn this thing around. 1st and 20 now after that penalty, a 26-7 lead for the Texans. Victor Cabales, starting quarterback on the sideline. This is Jaden Pete looking left side. That was almost a very nice physical catch by Keelan Johnson, but broken up at the last moment by Levi Wyatt.
What a phenomenal play by Levi Wyatt. That's the coverage that you want to have. Sticky at the top. He reads off the break, and he makes a phenomenal break off of it, and he continues. Even after it looks like Keelan Johnson was coming down with the catch, he bats that ball out and finds a way to turn into an incompletion.
Jaden Pete, 1 of 5 start passing. Texans quarterbacks 12 of 22. Sideline shot, looking for the go-to man. It's going to be close, but incomplete. Looking for that guy, Darius Cooper.
It's very close. What a phenomenal catch, even though his foot may have been out of bounds. Coming down with it as we look in closer, his foot is out of bounds. So it is not a catch right there, but that's the playmaking ability that Darius Cooper possesses at any given time.
Now we have the tablets on the sideline for the first time. There is a rule that goes along with the tablets. If anybody on the sideline shows video of one of those plays to an official, it is an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty. So let's say that it looked like that was in bounds. Whitten would not be allowed to show one of those tablets with the replay to an official, or they'd get banged for 15 yards.
Yeah, that probably saves the officials quite a bit of a headache trying to defend.
You know the coaches, that's the first thing that's on their mind.
It actually happened in the bowl game.
You're right, which led to that change with the penalty. 3-man front here for McNeese on 3rd and 20. Pete picked off nearly. Oh, those are the moments that the Cowboys need. And Reggie Ellis almost had a game-changing interception.
There's been a stark contrast to the offense being run by Victor Cabales versus Jaden Pete. First half, Texans looked as though they were unstoppable and could do anything that they wanted. We're looking in the second half now. They've struggled tremendously. They haven't been able to find a rhythm. They haven't ran the ball effectively, and now almost through a turnover, punting again in their own end zone.
Guzman gets his punt off. McAllister retreating, fielding at the 40. And a fine tackle on special teams by Kearns. McNeese, they need something. Tarleton has slowed it down a little bit, opened up the door for the Cowboys. They need to bust through. One of the great additions to college football this year is the emergence of tablets on the sideline with video. You get this real time. Now programs are allowed 3 looks. They're allowed the sideline look, they're allowed the high end zone look, and they get the game copy as well, like you're seeing at home. But you cannot have any analytics, any data on that video, and you cannot have any previous video from previous games or from practices. But opens up entirely new possibility on how drives are reviewed immediately.
Absolutely. That's something that's obviously a no-brainer change that opens up the playbook for offensive coordinators and quarterbacks alike to be able to see what coverage was that defense in, where was that D lineman lined up, and then you can make those adjustments, and those adjustments happen quicker for the success of the offense.
McNeese trying to get something going here. One of their last 8 drives has gone for more than 20 yards. It was a 46-yard drive, and you'll never guess how that drive ended. A turnover. So even when they are moving the football, finding a way to give it back to the Texans. Enormous 3rd and 3 right here for the transfer from Montana, Clifton McDowell, emerging as the leader for this Cowboys program. Gary Goff telling us he inspires and gives confidence to the offense, the defense, and coaching staff. It's a team and a program desperate for some positivity. That football looked like it was not exchanged cleanly as Colby Ham is stopped by Robert Rios. I mean, this is a no-brainer, right? Here on 4th down and short, you're going for it, aren't you?
You have to. They had in their heavy package right there, trying to force the issue, being able to get Colby Ham moving downhill. The defense was up to the task. Now you're looking at 4th and 2, right around midfield. Got to take advantage of this field position and where your placement is and try to get something going to be able to create some momentum for your offense.
Late substitution here by the Texans defense. They make that change. 4th and 2. 2 on the play clock for McDowell, and he calls a timeout. And Gary Goff showing obvious signs of frustration. It's a team that really thought they had turned the corner at the end of 2022. Won their final 3 games of the season. We're hanging tough with this Tarleton team. And the season opener last year gave up 35 unanswered points in the second half of that game. And the season unraveled from there.
This is one of those instances where one of your leaders have to step up in this moment, preferably on the offensive side of the ball, considering you have an opportunity to make a game-changing play right here on 4th and 2, to be able to say, hey, it's our time, it's our moment. We still have the rest of this quarter and the 4th quarter to make something happen so that we can feel good about ourselves. And I think that's what Clifton McDowell is going to have to bring to the table, starting right here on this play.
McNeese needs 2 here on 4th down to Ham. Ham is going to have the 1st down yardage. Huge conversion for the Cowboys, keeping them in this game.
It's a big push by the offensive line right there. Got big on big down there. Colby Ham, go find an opening and then push your way through, getting a little help from Clifton McDowell on the backside as well. 1st down for the Pokes.
It's been a lot more Ham with Joshawn Barbie's fumble issues in the first half. Now we see D'Angelo Durham in the backfield, picks up the blitz, and that is complete to the tight end, Logan Malden. And 2-yard pickup there. But props for D'Angelo Durham, feeling that pressure off the edge. Was able to keep his quarterback upright.
As a running back, you know I love to see blitz pickups like that. It's a great job by D'Angelo Durham there.
How often do you see that done well at the college level?
It's an art. It's an art. So being able to emphasize that and do it well, you can earn a lot of money by doing that.
And there's Durham. Durham to the 30-yard line. Haven't called his name much. But he was 5th in the Southland with 5:09 on the ground last season.
Got to be unselfish, right? He just picked up the blitz on the last play. Nobody wants to do that. Everybody's here to run the rock. Well, whenever you do pick up the blitz, now you're able to be rewarded, and that reward paid off handsomely for the McNeese Cowboys.
And he knows it's open competition, open opportunity at that running back spot with the struggles this afternoon. McDowell going left side. And McDowell is stopped by Caden Holt. 5-yard pickup. 3 minutes to go here in the 3rd quarter.
McNeese is finding rhythm right now. We see a couple pass plays being completed. We see the run game getting started. McDowell using his legs. You're looking at a 2nd and 5 opportunity here, nearing the red zone. Continue to drive that momentum, and maybe you can find some pay dirt in the end zone.
Cowboys again with the late substitution. And the Texans allowed to match. 5 on the play clock for Clifton McDowell. 1 on the clock. No, does not get the snap off. I cannot imagine the frustration in Lake Charles watching miscues like that. They have not scored since a touchdown drive on the 2nd drive of the game. And it's been more of the same, finding ways to beat themselves.
Again, another self-inflicted wound like you just mentioned. That's things that you can't have happen, especially whenever you're set up. Get the play call in, get the substitutions in, execute, and continue using the momentum that you had just gained up to that point.
From a 2nd and 5 with the playbook wide open. Miscommunication there with D'Angelo Durham. What happened on that one, Fozzie?
Somebody went the wrong way, and I'm not sure if it's the running back or the quarterback. What I do like, even if it was the wrong person, Clifton McDowell makes a heads-up play. He sees it's a broken play. He ends up going where the play was designed to go, ends up picking up good yardage. Now you're looking at 3rd and 7 to be able to try to convert and still stay in this game.
You feeling 2 more downs here if it comes to 4th down?
This is definitely 4th down territory for this McNeese State team.
Durham to the bottom of the screen, setting up McDowell to do what he does best, traversing through the Texans defense. That's going to be a 5-yard pickup. So here is that situation, 4th and 2. More big bodies running onto the field for the Cowboys, as well as the field goal unit. This is an opportunity to make it a 2-score game. 36-yard attempt from Tyler Larco, transfer from Arkansas. He was a standout before that at UT Martin, and the kick is up and good. So for the first time since the 2nd drive of the afternoon, McNeese gets points on the board. That makes it a 16-point game. So a 2-score game now for the Cowboys. Got to imagine that that's the thinking in going for the 3 points instead of trying to convert on 4th and short.
Yeah, take the points when they're available. Because they went for it midfield, I would have thought they would have continued with that same type of philosophy down near the red zone and go for it. But taking the safe approach, you got 3, down by 16, like you mentioned, a 2-possession game. Use the momentum to your advantage. Don't cause any more setbacks, which they've already experienced up to this point and had their fair share of. Let's try to ride this momentum and keep doing what we do in the 2nd half, because the defense has shown that they can make plays against this new-look Tarleton State offense that has had to punt the ball the last 3 possessions.
And how deflating, though, was that delay of game call? In a situation where you absolutely cannot have it. Move back the Cowboys. And that sails far out of the end zone to set up the Texans at the 25-yard line. Brings us to the rest of this opening day of college football. This, the first game played here in the United States. We'll have the 10th annual FCS kickoff game this year between North Alabama and Southeast Missouri State at 7 Eastern on ESPN. The 19th annual MEAC SWAC Challenge. FAMU and Norfolk State in Atlanta. Our celebration of HBCUs beginning at 7:30 Eastern on ABC and ESPN. The favorites on this FCS level: South Dakota State, North Dakota State, Montana, Montana State, and South Dakota. Your top 5. Tarleton, number 19, one of 2 teams from the state of Texas. Pete goes down. A.J. Thomas with the sack. He's had an eye-opening start to the season for the Cowboys defense.
And this is what we talked about, right? That momentum from the offensive side of the ball. You see he takes a stunt on the inside, finds an opening. Too late for Kayvon Britton to get there. A.J. Thomas has his presence felt on this McNeese State defense.
18 seconds left here in the 3rd quarter. Texans have run 7 plays. They have 3 total yards to show for it. They're going to let this one go down to the end of the 3rd quarter to set up the 4th. So we'll see if the Tarleton State Texans have enough with no Victor Cabales, their standout quarterback, to survive the final 15 minutes. McNeese within 2 scores. Can they get the comeback win? We're about to find out. 4th quarter here on the campus of Tarleton State. as they are trying to hold off McNeese. A 26-10 lead on a day that has been marked by miscues from the Cowboys. Victor Cabales is being examined for an injury to his upper body, upper extremity. He is questionable to return, so it's in the hands of Jaden Pete. And this man, Kayvon Britton, to close this one out for the Texans. But Fozzie, you can definitely feel the Cowboys have a window of opportunity here.
Yeah, this game is not over. We talked about it. It's a two-possession game right now if they're able to convert on 2 points after scoring twice. But right now it seems as though the Texans are leaving the Cowboys in this game, and the Cowboys are taking full advantage of that right now.
A 3rd and 14 here for Jaden Pete and the Texans offense. Still plenty of time for McNeese to get back in this. And there's sprinting, just shuffling, diagnosing what's in front of him. Short pickup, A.J. Thomas with the stop. And this will bring out the punt unit for the Texans.
Now again, this is the 4th straight punt for the Texans. Have not found pay dirt in the end zone or even a field goal attempt in this second half.
Britton is now over 100 rushing yards in the game. Matthew McAllister still waiting to try to break one off. Transfer from Louisiana Tech. High archer. And it's taking a Tarleton State bounce inside the 30-yard line. 47-yard punt, no return. So for the first time since the second drive of this game, McNeese was able to put points on the board. They had a 4th and 2 inside the 30, settled for a short field goal to make this a 2-score game at a 16-point deficit. What needs to happen now for Clifton McDowell and this Cowboys offense?
Well, I think ultimately we saw a little spark whenever D'Angelo Durham came into the game. He broke off a big 13-yard run to be able to help facilitate their offensive movement and momentum. He's back into the game. Maybe rely and lean on what he did in that previous drive.
Tyrone Hayes in motion. Keeping it on the ground and a good burst. D'Angelo Durham to the 45-yard line. Did not see him in the first half. He was saving it all up for crunch time. 18 yards.
Here it is. He reads it up. Linemen do a phenomenal job putting a hat on a hat, providing that coverage. He cuts outside one-on-one with the cornerback, almost makes him miss. 18-yard gain.
McDowell will flip it out to D'Angelo Durham. Durham still rumbling to the 40-yard line. Blake Smith with the stop. This game has hit a lull. It's hot. Some of the fans have left. The buzz isn't as strong as it was at the start of this historic game here in Stephenville. Can McNeese now capitalize and get the momentum? McDowell, Clifton McDowell, shaking, baking to the open field. Great solo stop by Blake Smith.
You have a penalty here
on the far sideline.
Got an illegal formation. There wasn't a receiver on the line on the right side of the field, which made that illegal. All the eligible receivers were on the left side.
We've seen 4 turnovers by McNeese and numerous penalties that honestly could have easily been avoided.
And cost you big time from big plays that were made.
That would have been their 3rd straight play of at least 10 yards. Colby Ham now checks into the game. We have not seen Joshawn Barbie as he started off this first half with 2 fumbles lost. Ham picks up 2.
You see the defense trying to provide a little bit of pressure there. They saw where they were giving up some opportunities due to D'Angelo Durham being able to make some of those big plays in back-to-back games. Defense, Tyrone Nick says, we're not going to sit back and let that happen again. We're going to force the issue.
McDowell looking sideline. Great adjustment. Grown man catch by Curtis DeVille.
Big play alert for him. Remember, he is the transfer from Purdue, so he knows what it's like to play in big-time games and make big-time plays right there. Contested catch. Well done.
20-yard pickup. McDowell was looking right side, coming back through the middle, and Clifton McDowell trying to put this team on his back and say, follow me. I've been here. I've done that. McDowell, the huge prize of the transfer portal for Gary Goff this offseason, looked like he would be the starting quarterback at Temple on the FBS level, jumped in the portal again and wound up here closer to home at McNeese. McDowell will run again, lost his footing at the 15-yard line.
I don't know if he keeps his feet right there. He probably hits his head on the goalpost just a tad off. Couldn't keep his track. Now maybe some of that could be the wear and tear. The heat still playing a factor, but they're moving with good pace right now.
Cowboys trying to go fast. That's a give to Ham on a 3rd and 2. And that is first down yardage. Move those sticks.
This is where the substitutions play a huge factor. We talked about it earlier, nearing that triple-digit number, trying to keep as many bodies as fresh as possible. We're starting to see fatigue play a factor right now as McNeese looks to move into scoring position yet again.
Rare red zone trip here for the Cowboys. McDowell locking in to the left side and complete to Jermichael Carter.
Here's that rhythm we talked about establishing for Clifton McDowell. Got some runs thrown in with the running back. Got some runs thrown in with the quarterback, and now you're able to throw it out quickly, get your guy in a one-on-one position. They've overcome the miscue, and now they're in scoring position inside the 10-yard line.
And we have a whistle.
The game is under review. To be reviewed the spot on the previous play.
And the spot of the previous play is now under review. So this slows down, honestly, some of that momentum that McNeese has on their side.
Yeah, they're checking to see if his knee was down whenever he first caught it. Made a great, strong catch. You see 3 defenders bringing him down. But to your point, as we take a closer look right there.
Looks like the knee is down.
It's very hard to tell.
Is there any
as we get closer? This is a good photo there, good video.
Well, it looked like the knee, though, was down before he made the catch, and then does he get it back up in time? No, that knee is down.
Knee is down. So they'll probably see that, spot that on the 10-yard line. But at the end of the day, this is positive momentum that McNeese hasn't had all game, and they're starting to feel a little bit of what their system could look like, what their offense can look like whenever they're rolling on all cylinders with a mixture and variety of plays that helps keep the defense off balance with the running back run, quarterback run, and then the short game, throwing it downfield.
What do you make of the time left in this one? 9:33, just given that McNeese is going to have to score twice and convert 2 two-point conversions with the stop in there to tie this game.
Well, at the rate their defense has been playing in the second half and the way that the Texans offense looks without Gabalis, there's a ton of hope that the Cowboys should be possessing right now because they've showcased now in 2 straight drives how to be able to put it together and get into scoring.
The ruling on the field stands. Second up.
So the ruling on the field does stand. And it will be a 2nd and 3.
I don't think there was enough evidence there to be able to tell if his knee was on the ground when the ball was caught or not. Stuck with the original call that helps McNeese. Now they're looking at an opportunity where they can still pick up that first down, get within inside the 5-yard line, and have an extra set of downs if they need to.
Definitely helps them with the spot. I'm curious to see, though, with the break in momentum, is it going to be detrimental? Durham, the tailback, and Durham, right side, cuts it back, fires. find the end zone, young man. D'Angelo Durham does, and the Cowboys are fighting back.
Durham has been the catalyst. Give this man the ball. We talked about it earlier. How did he become the fourth string guy? Well, I think that's going to change. He sets up the outside zone, gets his blockers into position. The free hitter is down there, but guess what? Because of the way he presses the heels of the linemen and then cuts right off of their butt, he's able to force that free man to go outside, choose the wrong gap. Touchdown pay dirt for McNeese.
Suffered a leg injury in 2022, came back last season to lead the team with 509 rushing yards, and before that we have a flag down. Another delay of game. Fozzie, this cannot happen. It's like a broken record.
Anytime they get any positive momentum going, it seems as though they find a way to make it a little bit more difficult to overcome those mistakes. And here we are yet again on a two-point conversion.
No. Now the kicking team is out. So I don't understand this. You still even backed up. Do you not have to go for the 2 points here?
I like going for 2 points.
Doink! And the miss. So they're backed up. They go for the kick. It's off the right upright, and that sums up the afternoon for the Cowboys. But they do get a spark with the legs of D'Angelo Durham, making this one at least interesting with 9:22 still left to play. Fozzie, was that sequence as interesting to you as it was to me? Opportunity to make this a one-score game, even after that delay pushed them back. But going for the extra point, the kick, regardless, would have kept it as a two-possession game, whether you made it or not.
Yeah, I would have liked going for 2 in that situation, especially considering the amount of momentum that my offense just had. Drove down the field. This was the best drive that we've seen this McNeese State team have in the second half. They put it together. I put my trust in the offense, make it a one-possession game at this point.
Now you put that much more pressure on your defense because now you need another stop defensively since it remains as a two-possession game. Head scratcher to say the least. Meanwhile, what gives McNeese confidence is knowing that this is a Tarleton State offense that was rolling, especially on the ground in the first half. 255 total yards in the second half. 4 drives, 17 yards, 4 punts. And that is after Victor Gabalis left the game with an injury and Jaden Pete took over. Surprised though we have not seen more Kayvon Britton with the game on the line.
I have, but I think that's going to change this upcoming drive.
First carry to Britton, showing why he's so electric. Nothing was there, and he makes it on his own. Slips out of another tackle. Kayvon Britton. Oh, the little guy lowering the shoulder to wrap that one up. Do it all, Kayvon Britton.
Right on command. Here you go. You got an inside zone. Put a hat on a hat. Let your best player go to work. Receivers are blocking downfield. That's obviously what you want to see, and that's an All-American receiver blocking downfield. All-American running back showing you why he's one of the best in the country.
Looked like he slowed down a little bit to finish that run with
deliver the blow. He wanted to deliver the blow.
That is some bad intentions on that run from a bad dude. 20 carries, 147 for the preseason All-American. And now we're going to Darrell Kelly, right side for 1 yard.
Right on cue, whenever we started talking about not seeing more of Kayvon Britton,
yeah,
it seems as though his number was called and then he produced in a big way. And it wasn't just him, but he had the help of his offense blocking downfield, creating an opportunity for him to showcase who he truly is in the open field.
He doesn't say a lot. He is one of the quietest guys on the team. He's into poetry. That was poetry in motion, but a nasty finish on that run. And then you've got Kelly fighting his way forward. This is what makes this Texans team so difficult to stop. Over the past 2 seasons, you have 2 running backs that have combined for 3 1,000-yard seasons. You had Kelly 2 years ago doing it. Britton last season and the year before when he was at Arkansas Pine Bluff. Kelly trying to bounce, slips 1 tackle, and takes it to the 20-yard line for a 5-yard pickup. Levi Wyatt there with the stop.
Really impressive run right there. The thing that stands out to me right now, you talked about the 1-2 punch, but Darryl Kelly was one-on-one right there with All-American linebacker Micah Davey. He makes a miss in space and then finds his way to get that additional yardage to keep the chains moving. First down Texans, incredible run one-on-one with that linebacker opportunity.
Under 7 minutes to play. Britton checks back in as the Texans have figured this out. And Fozzie, it's really about 4 letters. GTTB. That is what the new play caller, Adam Austin, puts besides his key players, like Kayvon Britton and Darius Cooper. And it means get them the ball. There's a very conscious effort, almost like a pitch count in a way, to get Britton at least 20 carries and to get Darius Cooper on the outside of receiver a fair share of targets as well.
And I think that's shown to be very successful over the course of last season, and we're seeing that show its face today as Kayvon Britton pushing near 150 yards and Darius Cooper almost 100 yards receiving.
Kyle Weber and Dawson Hernan, a heavy package here with 2 tight ends. Going back to Kayvon Britton, Tristan Driggers, and Ernest Grayson with the stop, as the Texans just want to bleed this clock here and get out of the heat, celebrate this win a little bit, and start getting ready for the rest of the season.
Absolutely. As you see, they've ran the ball 7 times straight this entire drive, keeping that clock moving, but at the same time wearing down that defense. Here's an opportunity, 3rd and 4. What do the Texans do? Don't be surprised if you see Jaden Pete pull it here and use his legs to be able to convert on the first down.
Back to Britton, trying to slip under tackles to the 11-yard line, set up a 3rd and short. 7th straight run on this drive. We're figuring it's a matter of time, as it's 4th and 2.
The offense is still out there.
Well, I like this because a field goal, you still stay at a 2-score game.
Yes.
Right? Get the conversion here, score a touchdown, and put this one out of reach.
And the stadium is liking the call right here by Coach Whitten. As he proceeds to call a timeout, maybe they want to think it over and see what play would best suit them to pick up this 4th and 2.
We'll take a break here in Stephenville as Todd Whitten is trying to come up with the right play call to put this thing on ice. For his 4th field goal attempt of the afternoon, this from 28 yards. He is 2 for 3 for the day, so trying to make this a 13-point lead with 4:30 left. Kick is up. No good. So it stays as a 10-point lead for Tarleton State. And once again, a window of opportunity for McNeese. Will they cash in finally as we are under 5 to play here in Stephenville? Glimmer of hope for McNeese on what has been a memorable day for Tarleton State as they unveiled the statue of the Texas Rider before the start of this game. Their first game as a full-fledged member, postseason eligible on the D1 level. Here's our Sunday night baseball matchup. Series finale between the ALS leading Astros and the Orioles, who trail the Yankees by game in the AL East. 7 Eastern on ESPN, ESPN Deportes, and ESPN Radio. ESPN2 will have a special StatCast edition. Our coverage begins at 6 Eastern with baseball tonight, Sunday night countdown. I won't get you started on your Astros because we still have a game in the balance here with 4:26 left. D'Angelo Durham has given the Cowboys a spark. He's in the backfield, but that's over the middle to Matthew McAllister. His first big play for the Pokes all the way. 80 yards. How do you like me now? Last year at Louisiana Tech, he had 2 catches for 27 yards. The only catches of his college career. He just went 80 to change the complexion of this game.
RPO option, that's what D'Angelo Durham brings to the table. They were having trouble stopping the run, so they had to commit more people to the run. And guess what? Whenever that happens, you get one-on-one coverage, and Matthew McAllister finds a way to make one man miss, takes it 80 yards the distance, probably the biggest play for McNeese to date.
Memorable first touches for Jamal Levi and Matthew McAllister in this game, and down by 4. Extra point attempt is good. So 4:15 left, and it's a field goal game. So we talked about all the decision making. It's a moot point if you make plays like this, Fozzie.
Yeah, Clifton McDowell, we've been talking about finding some rhythm. Well, he looks to seem to have found his rhythm with Matthew McAllister. Big play, McAllister right there. What a huge gain. Catch, yards after catch, and then the celebration. It encompasses everything that McNeese is trying to rebuild here in 2024.
Wow, and it changes everything. The drop of a hat. Unbelievable turnaround, and that is as good as you possibly could have cooked it up for the Cowboys, because no time came off the clock, essentially. One play and in. That is how you do it. So you still have 2 timeouts left. You need to get a stop here. He is wondering now, with that 4th and 2 decision, to go for the 3 points instead of trying to get the 2 yards with Kayvon Britton, preseason All-American, is something that will come back to haunt Tarleton State.
Yeah, we were trying to figure that out. But ultimately, at the end of the day, McNeese say we will take advantage of any opportunity that we are given. And in this second half, this looks like a completely different McNeese team. They've played well together on the defensive side of the ball. Now the offense has woken up. They've still had the miscues, but now in the second half, they found a way to overcome those miscues, and they've scored now on consecutive possessions.
And now, what does it come down to with the quarterback situation? Victor Cabales is out for Tarleton State. They are relying on a guy making his debut with the Texans, and Jaden Pete. On the other side, the guy that threw that touchdown pass, Clifton McDowell, has played in moments like this. He led Montana to the FCS championship game a year ago. Now, here we go with 4:15 left. What's priority number 1 here for Tarleton State?
Well, number 1, they have to take care of the football. You cannot open the door up any bigger than you've already created by having a turnover at this time in this juncture, because McNeese has all of the momentum working in their favor. Take care of the football. Don't do anything crazy. You still have the lead with 4 minutes, 15 seconds left. Control the clock, put the ball in your playmaker's hands, and then make sure you take care of it.
Kayvon Britton, the tailback, moving into the pistol look behind Jaden Pete, and it will go to Britton. They got to ride their go-to Haas, and he takes it to the 30-yard line, a gain of 5.
Exactly what you want to see about that big offensive line. All 5 starters coming back. We're starting to see that play an impact in this role with the way that they work in sync together. Kayvon Britton crushing another 5-yard gain. We'll see what happens here on second down.
Does a football go in the air? It's a big question on this drive for the Texans. 2 plays on the ground. Great second effort there by Kayvon Britton. Micah Davey, of course, he makes a stop. Just great to see him back after he was hit low, and they were checking him out. Here we go with a 3rd and 2. Micah Davey, preseason All-American at linebacker, taking down Kayvon Britton, preseason All-American at tailback. Enormous play that will go a long way, shaping the outcome of this game. Pete swings it. Oh, that was almost going the other way. Macy Lewis. All day long it's been about Tarleton State making the defensive plays, but Macy Lewis just made the play for the Cowboys.
That is huge right there, and almost, it was going sideways. You got to be careful on a lateral.
Yeah.
If it gets deflected, that's a fumble and a live ball. It was called incomplete, so it brings up 4th down. But again, this McNeese defense has found a way to get yet another stop. That's now 6 straight possessions that they've stopped Tarleton in this second half.
And plenty of time for the McNeese offense. It is the electric Matthew McAllister that just announced his presence with the 80-yard receiving touchdown back at the 10. And it's a fair catch. 2:56 and 2 timeouts left for McNeese. The next UFC Fight Night coming from the Apex in Las Vegas tonight. Prelims beginning at 7 Eastern on ESPN+, followed by the main card on ESPN, ESPN Deportes, and ESPN+, highlighted by the middleweight main event. Lo Galindo, Fozzie Whitaker with you here in Stephenville, Texas. The first college football game of the season played in the United States. And we are shaping up to have a classic finish when it looked like it would be anything but that in the first 30 minutes of the game. This has been a first half dominated by Tarleton State, a second half dominated by McNeese. Despite 4 turnovers, the Cowboys are a score away from tying this thing up. D'Angelo Durham, some patience. And picking up 3 yards, Devin Sterling with the tackle.
Last time they played here in Tarleton, 2021, February 13th, McNeese 40, Tarleton State 37, but that game went into double overtime, and McNeese trailed 24-10 entering the 4th quarter.
And that game was about 20 degrees. This far from it. Clifton McDowell shoots it over the middle. First down yardage to Jonathan Harris. 23-yard pickup.
Again, Clifton McDowell, he has time in the pocket. The Texans only rush 3 guys. And you see he's back there patting it all day. He finds his guy, Jonathan Harris, big game.
And that takes us to the 2-minute timeout. Two minutes separating McNeese from the turnaround win this storied program is desperately searching for. Debut, but now he is on fire.
Do over. Second down.
And they will redo that snap. Ball is not ready for play. But you see the electric streak that McDowell is on, 6-6 for 145, and that 80-yard touchdown to Matthew McAllister. This is McDowell's 6th college program, but for the first time he enters a season as the undisputed leader of a team. And there is Durham on the ground. Solid pickup on first down of 4 yards.
We're starting to see a little bit of finding your rhythm. Remember, McDowell has only been here for a short amount of time and has only practiced with the team throughout the course of training camp. So they're going to have to find the rhythm on the fly, and we're starting to see that develop with his stats in the first half and what he's done on the last 6 passes.
3-point lead for Tarleton State. McDowell looking back downfield and complete to Curtis DeVille.
There again, McDowell stands tall, comfortable in the pocket. Whenever you're only rushing 3, you got to either get there or find a way to have that coverage be locked down underneath. Right now, it seems like Tarleton doesn't have an answer for this McNeese offense.
1:22 left to Durham. Durham feeling the pressure from the edge and picking up 4 yards. Ty Rawls brings him down. McNeese still with 2 timeouts to work with. They need a field goal to tie this up. They have a new kicker in Tyler Larco, a transfer from Arkansas. McDowell taking a shot. DeVille tried to come back to it. He's looking for the PI. No call.
The referee seems to say, hey, we're going to let you play. There were a lot of hand fighting between the offense and the defense right there.
3rd and 7. This would be a 51-yard field goal from this spot. Colby Ham now the running back. Oh, McDowell! McDowell! First down yardage!
What a play right there. 10-yard gain by McDowell. When in doubt, use your legs, and then you got the lead blocker of Colby Ham right there. First down, McNeese.
Through the first half of this game, I don't think there was anyone watching that could predict this thing would go down as a classic, but that is what we have brewing here in week 0. Tarleton State, they were the team ranked in the preseason top 25 coming into this game. I think everybody sleeping on McNeese, and understandably so, did not win a game on the field last season. 10 losses for the first time in program history. Their 4th straight losing season. The only win to their credit was a forfeit victory. But Gary Goff has instilled belief in his team. They brought in 59 new players, 21 from the FBS rank, 6 from the FCS. The most impactful transfer, though, maybe on any level of college football, as impactful as any, that man, Clifton McDowell, because he's been there and he's done that. Instant credibility to this McNeese program.
He's also showing why he was one of the most coveted transfers in the country just a year ago with that 3rd down pickup, keeping his offense on the field, poised, moving, trying to take the lead or at least tie the game up.
McDowell will take it again. And McDowell tripped up after 2.
Operation has to quicken up a little bit here for McNeese. That time is ticking away. Find a way to get some positive yards.
McDowell, plenty of time, but the pocket collapses, and will McNeese have to burn one of those timeouts here with 26 on the clock?
They're letting the clock roll. They're putting the play in. They're going to have to get the ball off quickly. It's a lot of time coming off of this clock right now.
3rd and 9. Is there more McDowell magic in store? He did it on the last 3rd down, and a flag is down. False start.
So be alert here with the clock running that could be a 10-second runoff opportunity unless a timeout is used.
That's exactly what we have here on what was the 8th penalty of the afternoon for Gary Goff's squad. Fortunate they had those timeouts. And you're looking at the end of the ball game there. But what's the strategy here with 3rd and 14? How aggressive can you be? You can't go backwards, obviously.
Right.
Set up a longer field goal attempt. But what can you do with 10 seconds on the clock and 1 timeout?
All about getting yardage here. I don't think they take a shot to the end zone. That might be a little too far or too advantageous for them to try to throw a deep ball. They got to try to pick up 5, 6 here, be able to center the ball into the center of the field as well. You got a timeout, so you can still clock it. But
lining up for the field goal now.
Change all of that.
44-yard attempt here with 10 seconds and 1 timeout left. Tyler Larco was 16 of 28 in an all-Ohio Valley Conference run at UT Martin. And a timeout is called. The Texans burned 1 of their 2 remaining.
We saw icing the kicker work at the end of the first half. Now we see roles are reversed. A lot more is on the line now as well. Does it work into the Texans' favor or advantage?
What am I missing here, though, without keeping it in the hands of Clifton McDowell to try to pick up a chunk of extra yards here?
With 1 timeout left, I'm not quite sure. Or do they have 0?
They do have 1 on our scoreboard. And here it is from Tyler Larco to tie this game. The kick is up. Will it sell true? No! Tarleton State will hold on to win.
There's 4 seconds still left on the clock, so all they have to do is take a knee and this game should be over.
A long, arduous process and the transition from a Division II power to a fledgling Division I team completed in 4 successful years of that reclassification program under that man, Todd Whitten. And this, the first game that Tarleton State is a full-fledged member of the D1 level, meaning they can make the FCS playoff this season, and somehow they survive. Todd Whitten adds to his total as the winningest coach in Texans history with the team that did not score a point in the second half.
It wasn't pretty, but I can tell you this. As a former player, it doesn't matter if a win was ugly or if it was bad. As long as you get the win and end up in the W column, that's all that matters most. 1-0 for the Tarleton State Texans.
For Fozzie Whitaker, I'm Lowell Galindo. Tarleton State moves to 1-0 after the Week 0 win on what was a monumental day on the campus here in Stephenville, Texas. Next up, high school football. We got Bishop